Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So, I'm riding into work this morning, and a brother sent me a TikTok video of Dr. Cornell West, who many may not know is running for presidency as an independent. And I'm listening to him speak, and if I was a person who believed in democracy and believed in the voting process, if I believed in a pure, trustworthy, integrity-based voting process, I would have to say I would have to vote for Cornell West. And I say that because he seems to have a just and good-spirited moral compass. When I listened to him speak, he talked about the plight of black people. He talked about the plight of the Palestinians. He talked about supporting any group that is being oppressed. Now, as a Muslim, we understand that Allah does not like or love the oppressors. When you look at the moral compass of our current president, and you look at the moral compass of the last president, when you look at the moral compass of pretty much any of the presidents, and you say, I support that, I have to be careful with what I say. I have to choose my word. I look at you sideways. How do you support any person who obviously has a twisted moral compass? How do you choose as a leader or support someone as a leader of the country that you live in who has an apparent twisted moral compass and tends to lack true God consciousness? For the life of me, I can't understand why anybody would support Donald Trump. I don't. The man is he's not smart. He's not an intelligent guy. Let me take these glasses off. He's not an intelligent guy. I don't want to say he's stupid, but he got to where he is through a lot of nepotism and a lot of white privilege and a lot of being from an elite class. It's not that he is, just over the top intelligent. He's not an intellect. He's got the vocabulary range of an 8th grader off the short yellow bus. Our current president, you just go back and look at some of the speeches that he's given on race in the past. So I don't believe for a minute that there's any type of ostensible goodness coming from the goods or the crumbs off the table that black people in America or Muslims are getting from the current presidency. I don't take any good that we get as it's coming from a good place. It's coming from being just altruistic. He has altruistic motives behind doing good for black people, poor people. I don't believe that. I believe it's about power and money, maintaining status quo. So the point being, I think there's a twisted moral compass for the current president and the guy that's attempting to be the president. And I can't support that. When I look at politics, I tend to go issue by issue. By no means, no way, shape, fashion, or form do I support either party. I would never be a member of one of these parties. I would never align myself with any of these parties. You know, the asl of these parties is against Islam. And they have a history of warring against and, you know, plotting and planning and having agendas against Islam. So how could I align myself with either party? But I do tend to look at issues, specific issues, you know, based on, my support comes from looking at specific issues. I'm sorry, you have to excuse me. I'm driving and doing this at the same time, so I'm not trying to crash. But I had to sort of get this out after looking at that Cornell West video. You know, we need to, or should, especially as Muslims, you know, we claim that our moral compass is guided by the Creator and that we are in tune with that. Well, who we support as a leader, you know, if a person is into that Republican Democrat stuff, then who they support as a leader should be reflective of that. So if you're out here supporting Trump, I question your moral compass. How do you support a man who has said and done the things that he said and done? What is it about him that makes you support him? When you look at him as a family man, like, when was the last time you saw Trump with his whole family? Like at a gathering, when was the last time you saw his wife? When was the last time you saw his children with him? You have to look at the small details. Look at the things that he said, the things that he's done, the ban on Muslims. I remember I was back home in Detroit when he enacted that. Muslims went crazy. They were at the airport having protests at the Detroit airport and everything. It was crazy. You know, Trump also has, on a federal level, decimated and outlawed DE&I. Why would you do that? Why would you not want diversity, equity, and inclusion? Well, like, why would you? Anyway, anybody that's black or anybody that's Muslim that supports that kind of guy, I can't lie, I look at you sideways. It doesn't mean I don't love you, doesn't mean I don't like you. It just means I question the thought process. You know, and it's the same thing with Biden. Like I said before, you know, he's got a history of statements that sort of, you know, tell you who he really is at heart. That doesn't mean that either one of these candidates couldn't do something that black people, Muslims, or poor people couldn't benefit from. I'm not saying that, but I'm looking at I think the core of who they are, of what they would do if they could do. I think that's important to think about. What they could do if they could do. But I liked Cornell West's TikTok video. I liked what he had to say. If I had to choose somebody to vote for today, it would probably be him. Again, that's based on, you know, his academic history. You know, I've read a lot of his stuff and seen a lot of his lectures, and just listening to the things that he's saying in this, you know, in this video. But I am not a supporter of the current political process. I think that it's controlled by elites. I think that voting is a farce, meaning I do not think that the elites, the powers that be, those who have the ability to determine allocation of resources, they have the ability to decide war, they have the ability to decide which country, you know, gets invaded, what country doesn't get invaded, who does what, oil, chemicals, natural resources, these type things. For 1 second, I don't believe that they're going to leave their situation and their ability to maintain their power position up to a simple vote of common people that they look down on or have historically looked down on. So I don't believe that, especially on the national level, as far as who's going to be the leader. I don't think that voting is really the catalyst for who gets that position. I think there is an agenda. I think some things are already planned out, and they move forward with their agenda, giving you the illusion, the smoke and mirror illusion of you played a part in choosing. Now, I do believe that voting can make a difference on the local level. I think voting on the local level, when you talk about school board levies, when you talk about, infrastructure bills and things like that. But when it comes to major positions, I don't have belief in it. So I am about to pull into work. I hope I was clear. And this was just me shooting from the hip after watching Dr. Cornell West's video. I think it looked like he was being interviewed. It looked like it could have been the Breakfast Club or something. I'm not sure. But I liked what he had to say. So I will leave it at that. I'm pulling into work. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.